Welcome back to the Built to Grow podcast. I'm your host, Tim Lyons, in the Scottsdale studio, as always, joined by Randy Angston. What's up, buddy?
How are we doing today?
Good. We just did our, what did we do? Our predictions show. Prediction show. That was a good show. I'm curious to see if people make changes or if they just ho-hum.
The hard part about those episodes is now we got to wait a year to see how right we were.
Well, the next year when we're doing our 2024 predictions, we'll listen to that one like we just did for the 2022. Quick announcement, guys. We have a coaching program for gym owners looking to, I would say the number one goal of the coaching program that we do is called our Accelerator, is to get those gym owners out of the day-to-day operations. I think that's typical to, what most gyms want. Or the second one probably is, switching their model to semi-private. How do we do it? What's the price points? How do we change our current members over? How do we program for it? How do we coach it? All those things go into the coaching program. If you have interest in that, go check out our website, winninggym.com/grow. That'll give you some more information about it. Sooner or later, there's going to be a video on there. To finish that video up soon. But check that out if you need coaching. If you want to make 2023 your best year yet, best year in business, that's the program you're going to want to jump into.
Absolutely. And that's the one that we've been talking about for a long time, helping gym owners get to ahead of the game and to win. That's why we're here.
Yes, sir. Okay, now we're going to get a little lifestyle on you. So gym owners, listen. You're in this business. You took risks. You went in and you signed your name on the line, right? You said, "Hey, I'm gonna do this thing. I'm gonna open a gym." At somewhere in that thought process, you had to have thought, well, eventually we're gonna make some money and we're gonna have this great lifestyle, right? Like that's got to be in that thought process somewhere. I would hope.
Yeah, right? I was just gonna say hope.
I would hope, right? And so now the question becomes, what are you doing to, one, ensure profitability, but two, to increase that wealth through your profits? So if we look at quickly, what is profit? Profit is what's left over after all expenses, including paying yourself. See, that's the kicker, right? So you've paid yourself up in the officer wages line, and what's even left after that is now profit. And profit could be profit is a percentage of gross revenue. And what we're seeing, at least when we had our call with Sean, it's, anywhere from 20-25% seems to be a good milestone to hit for profitability, net profit. So if you did $500,000, 20% is $100,000. Yeah. So $100,000. What are you doing with the $100,000 that's going to serve you? Okay.
Absolutely. And that's, you nailed it right there with the last few words. How is it going to serve you? And that's kind of the purpose of this episode is, what are you going to do with the profit? Do you put it back in the business? Do you buy yourself something fancy? Do you, take the wife on a vacation? But that's a big differentiator, right? And we see that with gyms that we work with or gyms that have come to us for the first time. The mental shift of the accumulation of that wealth and then repurposing it, right? Putting it back into the business in one way or another, if you can, or making the decision. What are you going to do with that profit? And is that profit going to serve you in, can you parlay that success in other ways? Right?
So listen, guys, every gym is working out of a space. You either lease the space or you own the space or you sublease it, but like either a renter or you own it. I think the ultimate goal personally, if you're going to be in this game for a long term, is to owning that real estate, owning that building that you're operating out of. The one that you're in right now may not be up for sale, or it may be so far out of range that, hey, you couldn't really afford it anyway. That doesn't mean that you throw your hands up and don't do it. Crazy story on our end. Like, I knew this was the path since the day we opened. I just knew we couldn't afford it back then. 12 years ago, there's no possible way I could get financing to buy a building. There's just didn't have, there's just not enough money. So as we moved into the newer space and we continued to grow, I was like, man, I know that we got to get our own building. We just have to. I looked at the lifetime of rent that I've paid in over 14 years, and it was like, man, I could have owned the building outright at this point, times two on some, depending on where. So we made moves to do that, but instead of just going and buying a building, there wasn't really anything we wanted. So we bought a piece of land, and we were going to go ahead and design and build a shopping center, and our gym was going to be a part of that. Well, that that whole story is on its head, and that'll be another episode for another day. The good news is we're coming out on the other end very, roses, it's in good shape, but we know that like that was the direction. Okay. So you as a gym owner, you have to look at your space. You may be in a building that you could buy right now. Is there a reason why you wouldn't buy it? Like, I don't know of a reason unless you needed that money for, I don't know, something else, healthcare, like something, maybe you got something going on at the house. You got to keep that money in house, but your head needs to be thinking about this. Like, hey, I'm paying rent to a landlord. The landlord's paying the mortgage off and he's building this asset for him or her. Why don't I do that for myself?
Exactly.
You're going to pay a lump sum every month anyway. Might as well pay yourself.
Yeah. And that's a big thing, right? Like that is the thought on that profit. What is next with it? Do I continue on the path I'm on and just continue paying somebody else with all of that? Or with some, the portions that kind of pull from that? Or can I take the cash that I have sitting in my account and I make that cash now work for me? How is it making you money? It's building you equity every month, right?
Yeah.
You're paying yourself that instead of paying somebody else. And that's the big thought that we want you to walk away with from this episode is that money sitting in a bank account is not just a slush fund. It's not just for buying groceries and Christmas gifts or whatever. What can you do with that profit? Where can you put that so that cash is going to create more cash, more money for you for the longevity, for the long term?
Yeah, and listen, this isn't an investment show because we'd have to tell you a disclaimer of all this stuff. I'm just saying, like buying a building makes a ton of sense.
Yeah.
But there's other things like, life insurance policies and stocks and crypto and all, whatever you decide. But the point of this is you got to have that money working for you.
Yes.
Don't waste it. Don't go buy a new car just because, you made some money this year. But Tim, I want to celebrate. I want to, award myself. I understand that, but until you're at that point where buying the car or you already have your investments playing for you, maybe your investments are now paying for the car.
Yeah.
That might be a better way to look at it, right? So start thinking about that. If you don't have profit, that's the obvious first move. You have to make your business profitable. You just have to. Well,
let's break down. I mean, we always go back to Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow quadrant, right? And so if you think of the progression of a business owner, it's really like, your relationship with accruing wealth, right? How are you earning that income?
Yeah.
And so most gym owners that we've worked with on the left side, right, that are stepping into our coaching program are usually in that self-employed role. They're trying to get into that business owner role. And that's where you go from no longer having to exchange your time for the revenue that you're earning in the four walls of your business. The business now has systems and staffing structures and so forth that will allow the business to make money at your within your absence. And so we help gym owners make that gap, right? And that's like you said at the beginning of the episode with our Business Accelerator program. That is one of the key focuses, is getting you out of the day-to-day operations so that you can work on the business, not in the business.
Or not work on the business at all.
True. Which is a very, it is an option.
Yeah.
But the difference here is if you're not working on your business at all and you are in that business owner role, then in our opinion, your lifestyle should be pretty nice, right? You should be in a position to where you live a life that you're comfortable with. Your bills are paid. You've got money left over every month, or, hopefully that's growing as well. Mm-hmm. But you have the ability to do something with the profit that your business is earning. It's not just going in and out. And then the next step is that investor role. And that's really where you can kind of accelerate some of the growth in a way, right? Because you're now earning your profit from your business. That profit can go into either interest-bearing, returns, stocks, trade, all those types of things. Or, like you said, the real estate play. And that's really what is the next step on that financial, those financial tiers, is getting to the position of that investor. At the end of the day, who doesn't want their money making money? Wouldn't that be the goal for everybody? Like, not have to trade hours for dollars?
Yeah.
And this is kind of that, just we're breaking down kind of that thought process. Like if you're in that position, if you're not self-employed and you're already in that business owner role, well, guys, now you can take it to that next level and really see a different lifestyle once your money starts making money.
Yes.
And I think I just don't understand why that isn't the natural, maybe because it's not really taught. right?
Well, it's not taught, but it's also not easy.
Absolutely.
You got to have a lot of things right before this can happen. So you can't have a failing business, and think about all the things that go into a business to get it profitable.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a million things. So like even profitable businesses right now, they're not all that common.
No.
Right. Now I will throw a giant caveat on this whole episode, talking about profitability or not. This is the biggest catch-22 in the history of every business in the world with the taxes. Okay, so if you ever want to take out a loan, finance a property, or do something along those lines, you have to show profitability in your business, right? So the bank wants to know that you have cash left over to then pay the burden of the loan. I mean, that's a simple math equation.
Or
right?
sell the business.
What do you mean?
Or if you're looking to sell the business, you want to show that profit.
Okay, right. If you're looking to sell your business, you want to show as high a profit as possible. The catch on that is whenever you show high profits, you also then have tax burden on said profits. And depending on where you're at in the game, you may not want to show any profits because you're not looking to get financing or sell the business or something along those lines. So you have to always look about 2 to 3 years out in front, because that's what banks look at. They look at the last 2 to 3 years. I would play it out 3 years. So if you're planning on making big moves in the next 3 years, highest profit as possible. Yes, you're going to have some taxes to pay, but when it comes time to get financing, you're going to show great profitability. You're going to get approved, and you're going to get favorable terms. It's going to save you money in the long run. Mm-hmm. That's the catch. That's the caveat. That's the biggest, catch-22 in this whole game of business is like, you can't have one or the other, or you can't have them both.
Yeah,
right?
you can't have both.
You can't have low tax burden, but high profitability. It's just one or the other. And it's just a pain. And I know it sucks because I've fought this for years. Everybody knows I don't like paying any more than I have to pay in taxes, 1 cent more. Look what they do with the money. They just give it away anyway. Why would I want to give it to them? So, long and short of it is that you always have to be planning in advance. And so if I'm a 3 to 5 year gym owner and I'm coming up on the end of my term, I'm trying to show high profits because, that next move may be putting a down payment on a building and moving over to a new space that I own, that I'm paying the equity down, right? Or I'm paying the principal down, gaining equity. It is a no-brainer. Yeah. And if I could do it, I would buy this building. I've offered on it several times. They will not sell it to me. Situationally, we just stayed here. And I can't wait to share the numbers with you guys on another episode. You guys are going to be pretty excited about that. I know I am. But point of this episode, guys, is you're going to make profit in your business. What are you doing with the profit to serve you? Is it buying a building? Is it investing? Is it buying another business? Is it doing something other than just sitting there and you're buying toys with it?
Well, and one of the big things I want to make sure everyone is taking away, it's not necessarily a clear purchase that you're making with profit that, like buying real estate or putting it into investment or things like that. Sometimes you're not in a position to really accelerate that growth or that wealth yet. And so you need to make decisions to invest in the business, right? Sometimes it's a business coach. If you don't have the skill sets in order to be in a position to earn the next level of revenue and next level of profit, sometimes it's doubling down there. Sometimes, growth and wins from profit could mean putting it back into marketing and accelerating the growth that you're at. There are numerous ways of making that next level, that next step. And you as a business owner have to be proactive about it. You have to have a game plan because, guys, like we've talked about this whole episode, like the idea is to grow that profit, grow that wealth over time. If you don't know how that's going to happen, you need to figure that out. But, let's say you reach the end of that path and you do want to sell the business. I can tell you with 100% certainty, more gym owners that I've spoken with that want to sell their business can't. Because they don't have a business to sell. They have a great, job. And at the end of the day, their business makes about what it costs to operate, right? Give yourself a little bit of a take-home income. But most gym owners are not taking home what they should be for the work that they're putting into their business. Right. And it's not desirable for somebody coming along to buy it, right? Nobody wants to buy themselves a full-time job. I mean, you might be able to offload it to some new, some trainer trying to open up their first gym or step into the business for the first time. But again, you're not going to get top dollar for it because you don't have that profitability. You don't have the desired lifestyle. You don't have all of those things that come with a substantial business ownership, in a true tribe business. And so if you're not in that position, guys, this is your opportunity to make those choices.
Exactly. So hopefully that helps. Maybe put you in a better position for 23. This is your year. Jump in on a coaching call if you'd like to learn more. winninggym.com/grow. That's it for this episode, guys. Until next show, keep changing lives. We'll see you on the next show. Bye. All right. And thank you for listening to that episode of the Built to Grow podcast, where we help gym owners win. Now, do you want to connect with me and other gym owners online? All you need to do is join our private Facebook group, Business Talk with Fitness Professionals. Just head on over to Facebook and type in Business Talk with Fitness Professionals. And when you do, we're going to give you our 10 marketing strategies 7-figure gym owners use to win. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Until then, keep building something great.